organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, President Mason Monthly. Daily Iowan TV talks a number of issues with the university president, from the Board of Regents to head coaches.
Pulp nonfiction, hear how much waste Hillcrest food pulper is saving the university every week.
And in sports, Jack Dahm joins the program to talk Hawkeye baseball and much, much more.
That's all coming up.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning into Thursday's edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Alyssa Bergamoni.
And I'm Rebecca Swibes. University of Iowa President Sally Mason sat down with the Daily Iowan for an interview Thursday morning. Though President Mason covered many topics, she put an emphasis on the changes within the Board of Regents administration and the newly formed Transparency Task Force.
Recently, the Iowa Senate voted not to confirm two of Governor Terry Branstad's appointments to the Board of Regents. Those rejected were nominee Robert Kramer and current Regent President Craig Lang. Mason said she thought Lang needed to be thanked for his services to the three Regent universities in Iowa.
I've had a good working relationship with President Lang. We've certainly had many opportunities for discussion and conversation, and he needs to be thanked for his service on the board. He's done a good job on the Board of Regents. Citizen volunteers, that's who these people are that serve as regents, and these are hard jobs.
However, Mason did say she is willing and ready to work with whoever's confirmed to the board.
I'm prepared and anxious and willing to work with anyone who's appointed, and that decision, of course, is up to the governor and the legislature.
With regards to the Transparency Task Force, Mason said though she has no part in the meetings or the group itself, she hopes those involved will give guidance on how to be a more transparent university.
I think the committee obviously is feeling its way along, exactly what work it will do, how it will, I hope, come to some consensus and some agreements on best practices, and help inform all of us at Regents institutions on how to do our work with regard to transparency even better.
Stay tuned to hear more from President Mason later in the show.
Let's move from the university president to the new student body president. Who is it? We don't know either, because the results won't be revealed until 5 p.m. Friday evening. The announcement of whether the House or Toga parties will occupy the UISG seats will come 24 hours after the virtual polls close, as voting for all returning students ended at 5 p.m. Thursday.
Hillcrest Marketplace has cut its food waste more than in half since installing a food pulper last year. Previously, the dining hall would throw out more than 8,500 pounds of food waste per week. Now that figure is less than 3,000 pounds per week. The market serves 3 meals a day to all the West Side dormitories, resulting in the waste. The food pulper was installed to grind up the waste and reuse water, saving not just the amount of waste produced, but a whole lot more. The director of the Office of Sustainability at Iowa said the food pulper is importantly cutting costs for the university.
Because less food is taken and less food is wasted, they'll probably see somewhere around $100,000 in food orders, savings in food orders.
Other UI food outlets are still planning on improving their sustainability, and Burge Marketplace is expecting a food pulper in the near future, but needs a larger operation because of how many more students they serve.
The number of universities' dreaded letters home to mom and dad are slowing down. The letters sent to parents when a student is arrested or sent to the hospital for alcohol poisoning saw a spike last year, but have recently declined back to 2010 levels. One university official speculates that it's not necessarily a decrease in drinking causing fewer students to get arrested or get medical attention. Instead, she said more students aren't calling for help when their friends need it because they're afraid of getting in trouble themselves.
Aside from costly living, business owners from locally owned coffee shops are dealing with higher prices, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the Iowa City consumers. The Daily Iowan spoke to a number of local cafes, and most of them said the number of students and competition forces them to keep prices low, even though bean prices have risen. The bean prices are on the rise internationally due to climate change, making growing coffee more difficult.
You know, I think in Iowa City we really have like a good mixture of like locally owned coffee shops or the corporate, coffee shops, but I don't know, I love our selection.
Yeah, we are lucky here in Iowa City to have so many options, and my personal favorite would have to be teaspoons.
I like teaspoons.
Well, still to come on Daily Iowan TV, we have more with President Mason on what she would do if Mike Rice-Rutgers-like incident happened here at the UI.
And in sports, Nick Delaquila joins the set to break down a busy upcoming weekend for Hawkeye softball. But first, it's Whitney Blakemore's turn for weather. And Whitney, will there be any sunshine in the near future in Iowa City?
Unfortunately, the sun looks like it will be staying away for a while, but luckily the temperature is looking up. Friday morning, the starting temp is 41 degrees with cloudy skies. Moving into the afternoon, the temp should rise to about 46 with those clouds still sticking around. And as the day comes to an end, it will drop back down to 37 degrees. Now, as we take a look into our 6-day forecast, sadly, clouds and rain are the only things we will be seeing. The weekend will bring on the most rain, with Saturday having a 20% chance, and the rain still sticking around Sunday with a 40% chance. But luckily, Sunday will have the highest temps for the week at 72. The temps will be consistent in the mid-50s all week. However, the rain will come back on Wednesday with the highest chance for precipitation at 50%. Well, that's all I have for weather. Back to you, ladies.
And as promised, we have more with President Sally Mason. Recently, Rutgers University fired its head basketball coach, Mike Rice, for verbally and physically abusive behavior. The Daily Iowan asked President Mason Thursday what she thought of that behavior while coaching.
Certainly some of what was seen in the video was very physical. Yelling is one thing. Becoming emotional is one thing. You can learn a lot from watching those things. You can learn a lot from getting to know the players.
So where does Mason think that line comes in?
The perspective of questions that I have, for example, and I've had conversations with our athletic director about our coaches to make sure that there aren't the kinds of things that were obvious on that video going on here. I appreciate emotion, and I appreciate excitement, and I appreciate energy as much as the next person, but there are lines that do need to be drawn.
Go to dailyiowan.com to see the full interview with President Mason.
And now in world news, North Korea has been showing signs of a test missile launch, and officials say United States territory could be a target. On Thursday, North Korea delivered a statement claiming the missile has, quote, powerful striking means, end quote. Officials speculate that the soon-to-be launched missile is designed to reach the U.S. territory of the Guam in the Pacific Ocean.
A lot to get to on the sports side of the program today, so let's throw it over to Lauren Moss to find out about the weekend's events and an update on the Hawkeye softball team. Lauren?
Hi guys, and welcome to an all-diamond edition of the program in the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. Nick Delaquila joins us on set to talk some Hawkeye softball, and our own Kate Constable caught up with Iowa baseball's Jack Dahm on the team's off day at Duane Banks Field. But before we get to all that, a quick note on Friday's series opener with Kansas State. The game, which had originally been scheduled to begin at 6:05, has been bumped up to 3:05 due to the projected temperatures in the Iowa City area. Luckily for us, the weather outside relaxed a bit, just enough for us to sit down with the Hawks head man, Jack Dahm, earlier Thursday afternoon. Our own Kate Constable has the interview.
Thanks, Lauren. I'm sitting here with Iowa baseball head coach Jack Dahm, who's recently hit a milestone in your coaching career with your 500th win coming last month. Congratulations. How does it feel?
You know what? That was a long time ago. We were playing a little better baseball back then, but you know what? It's as a coach, the wins are more for the players, and unfortunately, as a head coach, you take the losses. You know what? I've been coaching a long time, and it's a nice award, but that's more because of my players and assistant coaches.
Now moving to this weekend's series against Kansas State, they're coming in playing really well on a 6-game win streak. What are your expectations for your team?
You know what? We want to get better every day. We want to take advantage. One of the things you talk about is taking care of business at home and winning ball games at home. And unfortunately, in the beginning of this 13-game homestand, we haven't played as well. But a lot of that had to do with who we were playing against. We didn't play our best baseball, but we faced some very talented teams. Now, with Kansas State, who's number 2 in the Big 12, you know, they're playing tremendously right now. I want our guys to worry about just getting back to playing good, solid baseball and having good focus and putting together 9 quality innings. And so we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great challenge. You know, we're playing a tough schedule. We've got one of the toughest schedules in the country. The reason for that is to get our guys ready for Big Ten play, and you know, it's fun when you go up against the Big 12 teams. And so we got a great opportunity. And then also Sunday, going out to Principal Park, getting a chance to watch the AAA game before us, and then playing in a AAA stadium. It'll be a neat experience for our guys. And I know the guys from the Des Moines area are really looking forward to it.
Now, K-State's been very dangerous offensively, like you mentioned. They're ranked 3rd in the nation for hitting. Who's going to be on the mound this weekend, and how are they going to handle this challenge?
Well, we're going to start out with Matt Dermody, then we'll go with Andrew Hansey, and then we'll follow up with Sasha Keeble. And you know what? Our early season schedule has really prepared our guys for facing a team like Kansas State. When we played New Mexico, they're one of the top 10 offensive programs in the country. West Virginia was very good. Austin Peay is one of the top offensive teams in the country. Indiana is one of the top. So our guys are prepared, and it's really about making quality pitches. And, you know, our last couple of weekends, our pitchers haven't been quite as sharp. We want to get back to pounding the strike zone and keeping the ball down. A couple guys, Dermody, you know, he struggled a little bit. The ball's been up a little bit compared to being down in the zone. I expect him to have a good outing this weekend.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations again on your 500th win. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
And Dem Squad, not the only one on the diamond this weekend, the Iowa softball team is back in action as well. And for some more perspective and analysis on the Hawks, we bring in our own softball insider, Nick Delaquila, who's been covering the team all year long. And Nick, there's a big weekend for the ladies this weekend. What can we expect?
Well, they're going on the road for a 3-game set against Northwestern this weekend, and usually teams don't like to go on the road, but this year's team has been a little bit different. The Hawkeyes are actually 20-8 away from Pearl Field, as opposed to only 2-7 at home in Iowa City. And I talked to Coach Looper on Tuesday, and she's actually really excited to get back on the road. She said there's more camaraderie, more structure, and it's just a better atmosphere on the road.
Great, and Megan Blank is one of the top players in the NCAA right now. What is making her so successful?
You know, she has a nice approach to her at-bats. She takes her time. I mean, she's leading the team in hits, home runs, doubles, batting average, and walks. She's hitting .420. She's got 7 home runs, and she's got a Big Ten leading 46 RBIs, which is also good for 10th in the nation.
So we definitely need her this weekend. The ladies have not been off to such a great start. What's been going on with them?
You know, they haven't been hitting very well. Their pitching's been fine, but I think because they were on the road for 6 weeks to start the year, and they came home, and their conference schedule's been really tough. I mean, they've played Nebraska 3-game set, and they played Wisconsin 3-game set. Both teams are ranked in the conference. So I think their home struggles have something to do with who they're playing, as opposed to earlier in the year where they weren't playing as good of opponents.
All right, well, we're going to hope for a road win. And thanks, Nick, for coming in. We'll be sure to catch up with our ladies this weekend. That's all for us in Sports Studio. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Lauren. And finally, Daily Iowan TV is the only place to get a look into Friday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read more about our interview with President Sally Mason,
and find out why 20 students from the UI had the chance to meet Warren Buffett on Thursday. Well, that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Check us out anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.